Welcome to the Deep Dive. Today, we're exploring a really transformative book, Brené Brown's Daring Greatly.
Mhm.
And that subtitle, it grabs you, right? How the courage to be vulnerable transforms the way we live, love, parent, and lead.
It really sets the stage.
Exactly. So, our mission here is to, well, unpack these huge ideas Brown presents about vulnerability, like really get into them.
And Brené Brown, for context, she's a PhD, a social worker, a research professor. Huge amount of work on shame, vulnerability, courage, empathy, too.
Right.
This isn't just, light reading. It's grounded in serious research. And what's compelling is how it flips that common script. That vulnerability is weakness.
Totally.
It really aims to reshape how you think about genuine strength.
So here's a thought to kick us off. What if everything you believed about vulnerability being, well, a bad thing? What if that's actually the secret, the key to a more courageous, meaningful life? Okay, let's unpack this.
Let's do it.
So the core, the absolute heart of Daring Greatly is this idea. Vulnerability is not weakness. It's the most accurate measure of courage.
Right.
That just stops you in your tracks, doesn't it? Because we're so often told to hide vulnerability.
We are. We're taught to armor up.
Yeah.
Brown defines vulnerability basically as uncertainty, risk, and emotional exposure. Simple words, but wow.
Yeah.
But here's the twist, the really key insight. She calls it the birthplace of creativity, love, belonging, joy, empathy, and innovation.
The birthplace. That's powerful.
Think about it. Anytime you create something new or connect deeply or even just, feel real joy, there's vulnerability there. You're putting something out uncertain of the reception.
Right, you're exposed.
Exactly. So the message isn't avoid it. It's lean into it
Yeah.
actively.
Okay, and then this is where it gets really interesting for me. She draws this super important line between shame and guilt.
Oh, absolutely critical. People mix them up all the time.
Yeah. So shame she defines as I am bad. It's about identity.
Fundamentally flawed.
Whereas guilt is I did something bad.
Yeah.
About behavior.
Precisely. And that difference is enormous in its impact. Shame is, well, she calls it destructive and paralyzing.
Paralyzing is a good word for it.
And crucially, it thrives in silence, secrecy, and judgment. It needs darkness to survive. If you speak it, it starts to wither.
Wow.
Guilt, on the other hand, can actually be helpful. It signals a misalignment with our values, prompts us to make amends. It can lead to growth.
So guilt says I made a mistake. Shame says I am a mistake.
You got it. Which then brings up a really practical point. How do we even start to notice and, deal with shame if it hides like that?
Yeah, what do you do?
Well, Brown really stresses the power of simply speaking it. Finding someone trusted, someone empathetic, and just saying it out loud. That act alone takes away its power.
Talking about it diffuses it. Okay.
Yeah.
And that whole idea of showing up, even when it's scary, connects perfectly to her arena metaphor, doesn't it?
It does, yeah. Inspired by Teddy Roosevelt's famous speech, The Man in the Arena, she uses it brilliantly. Basically, the people who matter are the ones in the arena, the ones taking risks, trying things, daring greatly. They might fail, they might get knocked down.
But they're in it, not on the sidelines judging.
Exactly. It's not the critic who counts, as Roosevelt said. Brown's take is crystal clear. It is so much better to try and fail than to never show up at all.
That feels liberating, especially if you're held back by fear of what people will think.
Hugely liberating.
Yeah.
It reframes failure not as the end, but as part of the process of daring.
Okay, so if fear of judgment holds us back, that ties into another big concept she discusses, scarcity culture.
Ah, yes. Scarcity.
This idea that society constantly bombards us with messages of never enough, not good enough, not thin enough, not rich enough, not successful enough.
It's pervasive, isn't it, that constant comparison?
Totally.
And the result of that scarcity mindset, Brown says it leads straight to fear, comparison, and disengagement. We pull back, we get cynical, we compete instead of connect.
So what's the alternative she offers?
The alternative is what she calls wholehearted living. And that requires cultivating gratitude, worthiness, and self-compassion.
Okay.
It's about shifting focus from what's lacking or what others have to appreciating what is and recognizing our inherent worth, not something we have to earn.
Inherent worth. So wholeheartedness, what does that look like day to day? She defines it as living with courage, compassion, and connection.
That's the triad.
And it means letting go of worrying so much about what others think, embracing who you really are, authenticity, but also, interestingly, having strong boundaries and practicing self-love.
Yes. Boundaries are key. And it definitely sounds simpler than it is. It's ongoing work.
For sure. A lifetime's work, probably.
And a big part of that work involves recognizing the vulnerability armor we all tend to wear.
Ah, the armor. Like what?
Things like perfectionism, numbing, and cynicism. Perfectionism is a big one she unpacks.
Right. Striving to be flawless so no one can criticize you.
Exactly. But it's a shield, like you said earlier. It's not really about high standards. It's about fear of shame.
Mm.
Numbing, too, trying to avoid feeling difficult emotions, whether through, busyness, food, alcohol, whatever.
And cynicism.
Yeah.
Just assuming the worst.
Yeah, kind of a preemptive defense. But the problem is, this armor, while trying to protect us, actually blocks connection and true growth.
Yeah.
You can't connect deeply if you're armored up.
Makes sense. So taking it off, that takes deliberate effort.
Conscious practice, definitely. It doesn't just fall away.
And Brown doesn't just leave these as abstract concepts, right? She brings them into very real situations like parenting and leadership.
She absolutely does. In parenting, the message is essentially that children need to see their parents as real and open, not perfect.
Okay. So modeling vulnerability for them.
Yes, showing them it's okay to struggle, to apologize, to feel things. That's how they learn resilience and empathy.
And in leadership, same principle.
Pretty much. Courageous leaders model openness. They build trust not through invincibility, but through empathy and connection. Creating psychological safety, basically, where people feel safe to be vulnerable, to pitch a risky idea, admit a mistake, ask for help.
Which probably leads to more innovation and better teams.
Research suggests exactly that. So it really makes you wonder, doesn't it, for you listening, how might trying to embrace vulnerability even a little shift things in your family, or maybe at your workplace?
That's a great question to sit with. So boiling it down, what are the main takeaways, the actionable things Brown wants us to try?
Well, the big one is captured in the title: dare greatly, show up, be seen even when it's uncomfortable, live bravely.
Show up, be seen, live bravely. I like that.
And other key practices. Talk about shame. Remember, it hates being spoken.
Right. Name it to tame it, sort of.
Exactly. Also, practice gratitude. It's a direct antidote to that scarcity thinking, focusing on abundance instead of lack. And lead with courage. Whether you're a CEO, a teacher, a parent, model these behaviors. Create spaces where vulnerability is okay.
So who is this really for, it sounds like? Pretty much everyone.
Honestly, yes. But especially maybe anyone struggling with perfectionism, shame, or fear of failure. Also, definitely leaders, parents, teachers, creatives, entrepreneurs. Anyone trying to lead or create more authentically.
And maybe just people on a path of, personal growth or emotional healing.
Absolutely. It resonates deeply if you're on that kind of journey.
It really is such a profound shift, thinking of vulnerability not as a flaw, but as maybe our greatest strength. That quote nails it. You can't get to courage without walking through vulnerability.
It's the gateway. You have to go through it.
And not around it.
Exactly. And maybe a final thought for everyone listening to consider. Brené says vulnerability is the core of all emotions and feelings. And she adds, if we want greater clarity in our purpose or deeper and more meaningful spiritual lives, vulnerability is the path.
Yeah.
So the question to ponder is, what's one small act of vulnerability you could maybe choose to practice just today or this week, something small, to potentially open yourself up just a little bit more to connection or creativity or maybe even purpose?